you mentioned you made a kind of analogy between Kyle Rittenhouse and Carmelo Anthony. Is there anything you want to clarify about what you said? Because it's causing quite an uproar.
Whatever uproar it wants to create, Kyle Rittenhouse displayed this was self-defense. And all my correlation is that if Kyle Rittenhouse said self-defense, Carmelo Anthony has the rights to self-defense.
You know, this baby beater that is representing Carmelo's family, he has some sort of weird obsession with Kyle Rittenhouse. He has a hard on for Kyle Rittenhouse because he brings him up all the time. This is like the third or fourth time I've seen him bring up Kyle. In every interview, in every press conference, he brings up Kyle Rittenhouse, and Kyle has already threatened to sue him. I don't know if you guys saw that. It actually happened early on in this case when he first brought up Kyle Rittenhouse's name, but Kyle threatened to sue him, and he probably should. Because look, you don't have to like Kyle Rittenhouse. You don't have to like what he did. You don't have to agree with what he did. I'll be fair. If I was Kyle's parent, I would not have allowed him to be out there that night. I'm big on trying to put yourself in places where things don't happen. I'm big on separating yourself from scenarios and situations that could get you in trouble. If there's a violent protest going on, hey, maybe don't go out there because there's so much potential for bad things to happen. So I think in today's world, you have to you got to be very cautious, right? In today's world, when you have the opportunity to do so, you got to make sure that you don't place yourself in bad scenarios, in bad situations where someone could get hurt, go to jail, or what have you. So if I was Kyle's parent, Kyle would not have been out there that night. But with that being said, anyone who is comparing Kyle Rittenhouse to Carmelo Anthony is a complete idiot, in my opinion. You cannot compare these two cases. There's nothing to compare. But in the eyes of Carmelo Anthony supporters, a white kid asking you to move from their area of the bleachers is just as bad as a violent, angry mob chasing you through the streets with weapons. Like, in order to compare these two cases, you have to believe that Austin Metcalf posed just as much as a threat to Carmelo Anthony as the violent mob that was chasing Kyle through the streets. Mind you, this violent mob was filled with chomos, filled with criminals, filled with people who were armed with all types of weapons. And we're supposed to believe that when Carmelo was asked, hey, can you move from under our tent at a track meet, that he felt like he was in the same amount of danger as Kyle Rittenhouse was. I mean, the amount of mental gymnastics that you have to do to kind of reach a point where you feel like these two stories can be compared, it's insane to me. It's insane. But once again, it puts this mentality that I've been warning you about, this logic that I've been talking about for over a month now, it puts it on full display. As far as black people are concerned, or at least a large portion of the black community, as far as they are concerned, words are just as bad as violence. You say the N-word, you deserve to die. You stab a white kid in the chest, you're innocent, you're a hero. You ask a black kid to move from under your tent at a track meet, you deserve to die. You run over an off-duty cop, you're a hero. So a lot of the people who are making this comparison, I think they understand in their mind that you can't really compare the stories, but to them, as long as you're black, you know, and these people are white, you could find any excuses under the sun. But this guy's been mentioning Kyle Rittenhouse's name a lot, so I guess Kyle Rittenhouse decided, well, if you're going to keep name dropping me, I'm going to name drop Karmelo. And Kyle Rittenhouse recently posted on X that he thinks Karmelo Anthony deserves life in prison. Well, naturally, folks, this made people lose their minds. I think there's over 8,000 comments on this post, and I do not have enough time in the day to go through them all, but I will read a couple of them here for you guys real quick so you can laugh at how triggered these people are. They celebrate the deaths of white people, but Kyle Rittenhouse saying that Karmelo deserves life in prison, to them, that equals violence. To them, they... Look, I'm just going to read you some of the comments so you can understand how they feel without me telling you. Now, most of the comments are just people throwing around a bunch of curse words and stuff, so they're basically unreadable on this platform. There's a lot of people agreeing with him too, but let me cherry pick a few comments here like this one. Why he can't use the same defense you got off on? What's wrong? He doesn't have the complexion for the protection, you little murderer. He can't use the same defense that Kyle got off on because Karmelo doesn't have an overwhelming amount of evidence that he was acting in self-defense and that he was really fearful for his life. When it comes to self-defense laws, even if you are defending yourself, you have to use the same amount of force that's basically being used against you. For example, if I come up and push you and you push me back, that's totally legal. That's okay. You are defending yourself. You used the same amount of force that I used against you. But if I come up and push you and you automatically take out a strap and put one right through the middle of my head, that's not necessarily considered self-defense because you did not use the appropriate amount of force. Your life was maybe not in immediate danger. Maybe you can't really make the argument that you were fearful that I was going to take your life by shoving you. When it comes to Kyle Rittenhouse, when you have an angry armed mob chasing you through the streets and it's all on video, people attacking you, chasing you, pulling out weapons, trying to hit you with skateboards, all of this stuff, when you have all of that evidence, it's easy to prove that, hey, I was fearful for my life and I was defending myself. Because best believe they were going to unalive Kyle that night. They tried to. Kyle just did a little better job than they did. Okay? So when you're looking at the Kyle Rittenhouse situation, you have to look at what Kyle was up against. Karmelo was not up against that. Karmelo was up against one white kid who was just asking him to leave, and Karmelo could have left, but instead he stabbed the kid in the chest. It has nothing to do with skin color. It has everything to do with the situation. But when you're looking and when you're dealing with these Karmelo Anthony supporters, it's always going to be about skin color to them. Because in their mind, black people can do nothing wrong. And if you think black people do something wrong, or if you try to hold them accountable for doing something wrong, it's because of racism. It's not because the black person did something wrong. So Karmelo getting arrested for stabbing Austin, it's because of racism. It's not because he stabbed Austin in these people's minds. But let's read another comment. Typical white supremacist talking point. So, just like I just explained, I mean, this comment just goes hand in hand with what I just explained. I kind of don't even have to say nothing here, but I will. Once again, on full display, if you hold black people accountable, it's because of racism, right? It's white supremacy's fault that Karmelo Anthony was arrested for killing Austin Metcalf. It's white supremacy's fault that Karmelo is charged for killing Austin Metcalf. It's not because of Karmelo's actions. No, it's the big bad white man. And this is the mentality these people have. Any and everything that goes wrong in their life, any and everything bad that happens to them, which is a direct result and direct consequences from their actions, they don't want to be held accountable for their actions. Any and everything that goes on is white people's fault. It's all because of racism. It's all because of white supremacy. All of the black people that are in jail right now, it's all because of racism. It's not because they commit more crimes than any other group of people on earth. But let's take another comment out. Hey, Kyle, could you give Thomas Matthew Crooks some shooting lessons? I know you're best at shooting point blank, but maybe you could help him with fine-tuning his accuracy. Thomas Matthew Crooks. That's a name I haven't heard in a while. Isn't it crazy how you could literally try to take out the president or the future president at the time, and then you just get forgotten about? Isn't that crazy? It's like we still know nothing about Thomas Matthew Crooks at all. But one thing you'll find is that a lot of these people have TDS. They have Trump derangement syndrome. So it doesn't matter what the scenario is. It doesn't matter what the story is. These people will always find a way to bring it back to Trump, because for these people, Trump is the center of their universe. Some of you maybe like Trump. Some of you maybe don't. Some of you voted for Trump, and some of you are really enthusiastic about Trump. But for most of you, Trump is the president. Maybe you like him, maybe you support him, but he's not the center of your universe. He's not your God. But when it comes to these people who just dedicate their lives to hating Trump, their life is about Trump. Trump is the center of their universe. Trump is their God. They don't worship him, but they spend all of their time hating him. It's like a reverse form of worship. So it doesn't matter what the story is. They're going to find it and they're going to bring it back to Trump. And here this person is saying, Kyle, you need to teach Thomas Matthew Crooks so we can unalive Trump. Yeah, not that mentally stable at all, but let's read another one. Kyle killed 3 people and was acquitted. Yeah, American justice system is racist. Is the American justice system racist? Or is the American education system failing? Because last time I checked, maybe I'm wrong, you guys let me know. Last time I checked, Kyle didn't kill 3 people. But you see, all of these people who hate Kyle, which I don't care if you hate or like the guy, all of these people who hate Kyle, they all think that he killed 3 black people. To this day, most people in the black community still believe that Kyle killed 3 black people at the BLM protest. A lot of black people still don't understand that half of these BLM protests are just white people. There's hardly black people in sight at some of these protests. It's just like these Antifa types and stuff like that. But here we are years later, and still people cannot get the facts of this case right, yet they think that they should be a voice that should have any credibility when it comes to Karmelo Anthony or any other case. If you, after all of these years, can't figure out the details of the Kyle Rittenhouse case, but you're speaking out about it, just shut up. Just shut up. It takes a 10-second Google search to find out the details of the case. And you really shouldn't need that, because the whole thing was caught on video. Everyone saw the videos. One of the most high-profile televised trials of all time. The news was playing the clips over and over and over again. Yet, it's not enough. It will never be enough, because in these people's minds, as long as they can paint out white people to be bad, they don't care how. If they have to make up imaginary black people for Kyle Rittenhouse to kill, then they will. They will. They will make up fake details, regardless if they even believe the details or not, and they'll pretend to believe them to fit whatever narrative they have, and their narrative is just white people bad. But that's just a small portion of what's going on in Kyle's comment section. Trust me, they are going crazy, but a lot of people are also agreeing with him as well. And I just wanted to make this video touching on this because I have a feeling that we haven't heard the last when it comes to Kyle Rittenhouse and this spokesman that's representing Karmelo's family. Because the spokesman cannot keep Kyle's name out of his mouth. So I do think eventually we're going to get to the point where Kyle sues this guy. I do think we're going to get to that point. So I wanted to put out this video kind of as documentation as we, go along the way in this story, because there's still going to be a lot more happening. And I know that for a fact because we're dealing with this baby beater activist who always stirs stuff up. You may have a couple of days where things are quiet, but this activist, he's not going to keep things quiet for long. He's going to continue stirring stuff up. He'll bring up Kyle's name again for sure. But for now, you let me know what you think about this down in the comments below. Subscribe if you haven't already. Put on the notifications. Like the video, share the video, and I'll talk to you all soon in the next one.